Hey, Govax here. So, I'm going to rank the theme diamonds from 32 to 1. Of course, this is the non-Taiwan division, and you're like, oh, where'd the face cam go? Well, you nerds bullied me in the last video, said I looked high as fuck, so, you can't ask for the fucking face cam back and then bully me when it comes back because you're just rude, boys. Alright, let's get into it, though. Alright, so, went through, obviously, like I do, and I ranked, hey, what would I add to my team? Fuck kickers. Sorry, I'm not gonna fake a laugh, dude. Okay, whatever. They're fine. I mean, cool. It's a thing. 92 kick power and 95. Meh. Luckily, the Dolphins got other players that played on their team, but were other team legends. Or else I'd have felt really bad for them to get the kicker. So Dolphins, you got a bad kicker, but it is what it is. 30. Oh shoot. There it is. 31. Mike Jones. Mike Jones, I don't even know how he got a 95 overall. Like, what? How was 87? How was this shit 95? 85 zone? Pathetic, right? Urlacher's coming out tomorrow with one higher overall stats. Look, this guy can't even fucking catch anything. And they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he's his zone coverage guy. Dude can't rush the passer. It's slow as fuck. Block shed's terrible. Useless fucking card. I'm sorry, Rams fans. I am sorry. That is a bad card. All right, number 30. Let's get back to it as we move on through. All right, I'm just gonna do each one of these. Like these next 5. When I say 5, you know exactly the 5 I'm gonna do, right? This is just life in Madden means offensive linemen to a high degree don't matter once you get to a certain level, and that level I believe this year is. Once I get guys at 90 pass block, finesse, pass block, power, run block, I'm okay with what they have. I think the rest of it will just come down to them missing blocks on, 7-man blitzes, run blocks, that kind of stuff. But you don't see crazy sheds after that. Obviously, if they have D-line abilities, you'll have to set up your blocking schemes, double a guy, that kind of stuff, ID a guy, that kind of stuff, the other side of the line. You got to do stuff like that, right? But otherwise, their stats are good. Don't get me wrong. They're statted really nicely. If theme teams need linemen, it's true. Obviously, they're probably, not a fan of their team getting linemen because it's much more exciting to get skill position players. But that's just the way life is, right? I mean, that's the way Madden's coded that. The fact that these linemen, even though they have great stats, good stats, they don't really stand out. There's nothing too crazy about them. They're all about the same, and it is what it is. It's just fucking offensive linemen. All right. Next one up is an unfortunately, kind of statted tight end. Now, there are certain tight ends that seem to play above their stats. Alge Crumpler, I don't know if he is one of them, right? I actually have not used him, so maybe he does. Run block 77, speed 85 at 6'2", so nothing there that actually piques my interest too crazy. His catching stats are nice, but all linebackers coming out will be 9 or 10 speed faster than him. Route running deep, not at 90. I mean, you can boost these things up to 90 for sharper cuts, but because he doesn't get there, it's kind of I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, he's fine. I mean, nothing too crazy there. Break tackle's only 76 too, so LG, I'd rather have that on a lake. Actually, LG on a lake is really bad. Don't take that as serious. All right, next up, Josh Cribbs. Now, Josh Cribbs, he does get human joystick, which is why he's rated this high, right? Other than that, if you put him at receiver, it's kind of useless. So, this guy's, basically obviously it's based on his price. I think, is that training right now? 166 for 94? I don't recall. But, all of his other stats, he's fine on speed. If you get him on a theme team, you can get him to 99 speed, powered up. John Madden, 25 out of 50. Yeah, so he does get there once you hit that 94 with a theme team. So he's fine for that, but, man, he doesn't really, do anything else well besides return the ball and human joystick the fuck out of people. But we got a few of those already in the game that are probably better to get, the Hesters of the world who can also have the X Factor active at the end of the game, protective custody. Simeon Rice is here for me. Simeon Rice is actually a pretty good pass rusher. The issue with Simeon Rice is the fact that his block shed is a little bit low. I like this speed. I like all that. This is probably a pretty solid player to put at if you're on a nickel package and you put him at defensive tackle, it's a QB spy. I think this is a very good player for that, and I use that quite a bit, right? That's in my scheme. I run big dime, nickel normal, that kind of shit. And I use a QB spy there when I'm facing a mobile quarterback, which is basically every game. So this player will play. These cards that they put out today are relevant. It's just the ones above them I feel like are more relevant for some schemes. But yeah, 94 finesse. I mean, and he's not the only one that can do this, but I do like Simeon Rice. Like, solid card, 6'5", nice lengthy dude. To kind of get, if you're in a spy, maybe get some bat downs with that too. All right, number 22, Derrick Mason. Derrick Mason, like I mentioned before on this channel, I'm a fan of his IRL. Just not the card. 91 speed at 5'10". Doesn't really offer anything too, like, amazing. It doesn't really stand out in his field like a scarecrow. His run block, impact block are not anything crazy either. So while he does get good juke, spin moves 3 short of the threshold, you could obviously boost that up too. But catching stats nice, route running stats nice. You will need to power up or go deep on him to get to that to 90. So Derrick Mason, kind of like a little underwhelming in my opinion. The next two are going to be, you know it, quarterbacks. And the reason I have Doug Williams above Culpepper, because he gets a slightly better archetype in my opinion. He gets the field general versus the strong arm archetype. So neither one of them could get escape artist, which is obviously the meta in this game because mobile quarterbacks are just that much more powerful than pocket passers until pocket passers get balanced out some way, whether they give them more abilities or they give them better abilities or they nerf the escape artist, or I don't know what they do. I don't think they need to nerf escape artist. They need to nerf throwing on the run corners. That's the only thing I need to nerf for quarterbacks. But other than that, like, that's the problem. That's the juice, right? They both have good arms. They both are very accurate. They just don't get escape artists, so those slugs behind the line of scrimmage. So that's why they are rated so low, even though the stats look pretty nice for the cards. Any other year, I would be very proud of those guys. But the problem with the game right now. All right, another two that are grouped right here, right? They added a bunch of guys that are very similar to each other. That's why I've grouped a bunch of them together, because these defensive tackles, you really can't tell them apart too much. Gilbert Brown, who's like, oh my god, thick boy, 340. Then you're like, oh wait, what Kris Jenkins would do? 360? Kris Jenkins, 360? He's even heavier than Gilbert. And he's a little faster too. The only issue I don't like it is when I want somebody in the middle block shedding, 93 block shed. The reason I have Gilbert slightly higher than him is 95 block shed right there. Now, you can argue that, okay, maybe you want a little bit more power move, and I can buy that argument. You know, Gilbert only gets 88, Kris Jenkins, he gets 91 there. So, yes, that is definitely an argument. But I like the better, higher, you know, try to max that block shed out as much as possible for defensive linemen to try to get that shed and then reach. So also Kris Jenkins being taller, maybe he'll get a knockdown ball. It doesn't happen that often, but you never know, once in a while. All right, next up will be Joey Porter. So, as a Steeler fan, I don't know if I'm biased one way or the other against him, but 87 speed is solid. I think that's the same as Simeon Rice, right? Power move and block shed are disappointingly lower than I like to see on this card. The benefit of this card is this hit power, right? You can put him as like an LT type. You can put him as, I believe he gets Enforcer at that power level, if I call correctly, hit power level. So like he can be on the outside, so you can have two guys that can like stop the run on the outside if you activate them. And then if they're running a lot, you can have them do a pass rushing chem, and they can have Enforcer on them. So that's what's beneficial about these kind of cards, that it's multi-talented. You can do a pass rushing chem and enforcer chems to kind of be a little bit more versatile, so you can kind of change the defense that based off what you're playing. Not a ton of cards are like that. Mike Brown. No, correct me if I'm wrong. I think. Wait. There's abilities on these cards. What am I talking about? Joey Porter has no abilities. All right, they didn't put it on Joey Porter. Power rushing outside linebackers. Let me take a look at that. What is Lawrence Taylor? Lawrence Taylor is the same one, right? So he has the abilities. So he's the same as Taylor. I like it. Joey Porter, power rusher, OLB. So he's like basically Lawrence Taylor 2.0. Next on the list will be Mike Brown. Mike Brown, free safety. The only reason he's down here is there's so much competition there at free safety. Great overall card though, right? Great overall. The problem is he's zoned out, and I believe at zoned out archetype, you need 95 for Enforcer, 92 speed on 5'10". It's okay, I guess. It's okay. He doesn't have the high man coverage, but he does have decent zone. So it's a card that we've seen before. It's nothing too exciting, but I think he's fine. I wouldn't be against lowering him on the list either. I just think he's, very, very decent card. But you're right. I don't know if anybody said it, but you're right. I think solid, not spectacular. Brian Westbrook. Next up, two that I grouped together, Westbrook and Lewis. So Westbrook is the receiving archetype that, if you recall, cannot get evasive, so you got to waste 2 spots. You want spin cycle jukebox. He also gets matchup nightmare, which I have on the CMC. It's really nice. You can throw him on special routes. You can spec catch over dudes, stuff like that with Westbrook. But not unique, not overly fast. Pretty solid, though, there. Loosen this juke move. Yeah, so overall, a nice receiving third down back that you can use in the backfield. But then Westbrook, then Jamal Lewis was another running back. Basically, you can have those two tag teaming, Lewis and Westbrook. Both 92 speed, but Lewis would be your I form guy, your downhill running back, whereas Westbrook would be coming in third downs to hopefully kind of catch a ball and win you over that way. Next up at number 13, lucky number 13, Brian Cushing. So Brian Cushing is a lot like a lot of the hard-hitting middle linebackers in the game with decent speed, right? 89 speed on him is actually very nice. Like when he had a card in Mutt before he retired, I don't remember him getting speed this nice, but that's probably because it was near the end of his career. So with that hit power, speed, he's also 6'3", which is a really good size. I mean, obviously you want like 6'5", but like 6'3" is solid. Luke Kuechly size. Zone coverage is very solid also on him. Nothing like too crazy at that zone coverage, but I definitely like the speed a little better. That +2 speed over the coverage outside linebacker. Mike Brown definitely makes a difference in my opinion. Maybe like, oh, you're too harsh on 2 speed, but I mean, it's 2 speed is quite a bit. In my opinion, speed is just the number one thing. That's how much of a big a difference that I believe between those two positions are. That's how much I value speed, right? Half a list. It is what it is. All right, next one, Garrison Hearst. Hearst is a little bit better archetype. That he can get. All right, let me bring you over. He's the evasive or elusive back type of archetype. He's 1 speed faster than the other guys. The closer you get to 99 speed, the absolutely more I adore you. All of his moves are also very solid here. He's not as good as catching as, say, Westbrook, but overall, I really like the way this card looks. Just like you see all these, like, the pretty greens and dark greens. Love it. Agile, acceleration. Yeah, Garrison Hearst looks pretty freaking solid, in my opinion. And then the abilities you get on him, I think, are pretty solid, too. So, next up, actually, this is kind of a funny little run. I think these wide receivers are all very valuable, and you can kind of mix these in any type of order depending on what you want to base your offense around. You want to go with these two if you have a run-based offense, these two if you have a pass-based offense. So the first two, Rod Smith and Anquan Boldin, both 92 speed, right? But when you look at deeper into them, run block 68, I mean, that's bordering on some of the worser tight ends run. Like this is pretty decent for a wide receiver. 92 speed on him, boost him up. You can theme team stuffs, everything there. Mid to high 90s there on the speed with 68 run block. Pretty freaking nice. And then he's got high catch and traffic. Obviously, you want somebody more taller. We have Megatron coming tomorrow, so he's got a lot of competition there. But overall, pretty solid. You can put zone run on him or go deep for extra spec catch. You can get the tier A juke with zone run. Or team chemistries too, or John Madden you'd need. John Madden, team chem, that kind of shit would boost him up too. So there it is, Anquan. Rod Smith, similar, a slightly worse run block, but slightly better catching traffic. You don't need the zone run to get the 90 juke move when you power him up. So overall, Rod also hot. A hot Rod indeed. So those are those two. And then if you want more of the receiving backs, the guys that actually have a speed to get around the field, you go somebody with like Johnnie Morton, 94 speed, or Victor Cruz, 94 speed. Both of them bringing in at 6 foot on the dot. Both pretty similarly statted. I guess we could look deeper into them right here. Pretty solid elusiveness ball carrier. And then the same thing with Victor Cruz. Yeah. So that's kind of my list as it is right there for the receivers. You guys can obviously disagree with anything I have. Next up on the list, I believe this is the top running back, Edgerrin James. Why is Edgerrin James better than the rest of them? 93 speed, I believe, is tied with Garrison Hearst here as the best of the 4. Break tackle, super high. Agility, acceleration, also super nice. I like this card more than Garrison, maybe because it a lot due to the name factor. Like I say, you got a lot of that greens and yellows there. Edgerrin just is Edgerrin. I don't know. He used to play well in the game when I had him. The market seems to love him. That's why his price is one of the highest in the whole set. So overall, you won't be able to spin, but you can juke, do everything you really need with Edgerrin, and just kind of have a good fun old time. 6'2". Body sizes definitely matter. It's not significantly difference between their weight between 219 and 215, I believe Garrison is. Yeah, 215 right there. But overall, pretty similar looking backs. I just kind of prefer Edgerrin. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. It is an opinion-based thing. Let me know if you guys like Hearst is better than Edgerrin. Next up, number 6, Joe Klecko. Now, I generally don't like linemen, but Joe Klecko fills a pretty neat role right here. Left end, 81 speed, maybe a little bit slower than you like to see, but 94 block shed, 94 power move is very well balanced against both the run and the pass. Strength at 95, we believe in that too. Obviously not as thick as the rest of them at 260, but weight isn't as big of a deal as a lot of people want it to be, as I think it should be in this game. For my testing, weight doesn't really matter as much as really I would like it to, sadly. Marcus Trufant. I guess we can go through. We'll just do it one at a time. Marcus Trufant. Why not? So we can properly talk about each one. Trufant, 94 speed, so that boosts pretty easily up to 98, 99 on the theme team. Man coverage, one short of the threshold. Like press is tough on him, so man press he can't play. But Dion has been balling out this entire year, not playing man press because his press sucks too. So another card that's along that Dion mold. Agility is a little bit lower than you like to see though, but yeah, with this kind of movement speed on the field, like almost all CBs are basically acting alike right now. So there's only a couple things that really tells them apart between run stuffing stats and the ability to, agility is underrated. I guess there's a few things more than just a few. Number 4 is Tracy Porter. Tracy Porter's number 4, 95 speed. Easily gets up to 99 speed on a lot of teams. If you have the John Madden, obviously not everybody has it. But 93 man coverage. Press is a little bit easier to get to 90 because it is 87. So you power up, you throw pass D on it, and you get your press D up to 90. Zone coverage will go up to 90 at that point too. So overall, Tracy Porter, 95 acceleration, 93 agility. You want that a little bit higher, but Porter overall, very, very cromulent player. Number 3 is Antonio Cromartie. He is 6'2". 6'2" at corner is kind of rare. 94 speed. So once again, one of those guys that gets to 98 easily with 99 on the theme team. Acceleration, agility at 95. Don't forget about agility. Everybody always seems to overlook it. But 94, 92, 91 stock on this bitch. So 95 jumping. Does a really nice job in coverage. Tall players, I like them. I like them agile. I like them fast. I like them tall. Yeah, I am a tall boy slut. What can I say? Number 2. Now this, I think the 1 and 2 is a hard decision. I ended up going Nnamdi for number 2. Just because I like number 1 slightly better, but I don't know. You could convince me either one. Nnamdi, you're like, oh, 92 speed, he sucks. Well, the important stat is right here. So we've been talking about all these cards powered up. So if you go to Nnamdi's power up, upgrade, he actually powers up to a 96, right? So 96, so he is a 94 speed, which means on a 25 out of 50, 49 Steam team like I have, you can get him up to 98 speed, right? So you can get him up pretty freaking high at 6'3" though. Dude, 6'3" is so nice. Whoops. 6'3" is so nice on a card. Agility 93. I wish it was that a little bit better. Acceleration 95. Obviously, depending what physical chem you go with, brawler or sprinter, you'll have the acceleration or agility higher or lower there. So awareness 95, jump 94, also nice on 6'3". Overall, a pretty freaking solid card. 95 man zone coverage when you put lockdown on him gets that over 90. Press over 92. Play rec pursuit. I don't know. Downsides of this card, I guess, like all corners have trouble tackling sometimes, but sometimes they randomly are like amazing tacklers. So yeah, there it is. Maybe it doesn't return the ball as well. Break tackle's not there. That's the downside. But yeah, that's kind of the whole Nnamdi experience. Block shed, I guess, would be a little bit low too at 48. But I've seen Deion Sanders get off blocks so easily in this game. It's terrible sometimes. All right, number 1. Number 1 is obviously Taylor Mays, the last one left. Taylor Mays, strong safety, 6'3" again. Amazing user. His speed, acceleration, agility, all 94. Jump 94, so that boosts up when you power him up a little bit. Zones there. You cannot put him in man coverage. So having somebody flexible in man coverage like Minka's been for me has been super nice. Been able to move him around. Crossman dudes, although crossman isn't as good as it could be. Hit power 95. This dude will smack a Rooney. So I don't know if you'd go. I might go run stuff instead of lockdown for this card just to get his hit power up because the zone coverage at 91 is good enough. And if you use him, you definitely want that extra hit power on him. So Taylor Mays. Yeah, Madden legend once again statted super well for this game. So he's my number 1. That's the list in a row. Let me know if you guys have any questions, any comments, what you guys think about it. But thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you tomorrow.